Okay, we're back. We're going to talk a little more about some of the options on the website. We'll start by looking at the beverage package. There are several beverage packages available. The first one is this ultimate beverage package. It's $99 a day plus a 20% service charge, which is added on to that. So for my cruise, it would be $1,188. Now, my wife and I will have some drinks on the ship, but we're not very heavy drinkers, so for us, there's not a lot of value in it. What I will say is that a lot of times you can book a cabin on NCL and get that included as a perk, and then it becomes much more valuable. Even if you get it in the free at sea promotion, understand that you're still liable for the $20 a day service charge on it. So again, depending on what you drink, if you don't drink at all, obviously that's not a great program for you. If you drink more than a couple of drinks a day, if you're only having to pay the $20 a day surcharge, it starts to become very cost effective. The corks and caps, which is a beer and wine package, it's less expensive, $780, so about $78 a day. Still plus the 20% gratuity. Again, for us, my wife and I, we won't drink that much, and especially won't drink a lot of beer or wine. There is a soda package that works really well if you're a soda drinker. And in our case, in previous cruises, we were individuals that tended to drink quite a bit of soda. We've pretty much cut that out of our diet, so we won't be using that either. For bottled water, you can buy bottled water in packages. They won't let you bring it on the ship anymore. It used to be you'd see people with cases of water that they were checking in their baggage so that they had water to use. What I will say about the water is that there's water on the ship that's either distilled or I'm pretty sure it's just distilled water, but it tastes fine. It's easy to get. You can just take it right straight out of the tap. No reason not to. There's water fountains all over the ship where you can fill it up. Now, one of the things that my wife and I will do is we will ask for the steward, our cabin attendant, to go ahead and put. I apologize, I dropped my camera off there. To go ahead and put ice in our room for us, and then we're going to take a couple of refillable mugs. That way we can we take some ice, get some water. We've got a glass of water. Now, one little secret I'll tell you is I kind of like iced tea, and rather than having to go to a dining room or to the buffet to try to find some tea, what I will do is I carry basically some water additives that are tea flavored. Uh, there's one I get that's a Southern sweet tea that I like. And so I'll take several of those with me. I'll check them in my baggage with that stuff. So I'll have that. I'll probably bring a lemonade thing so I can have lemon in my tea. And that, again, that works very well. But there's quite a few options here in the drink package to think about. Like I said, unless you just really firmly set on the bottled water, you can save quite a bit by just drinking tap water on the ship. There are several dining options available. We'll talk about a few of these. We'll go through and we'll start with the dining rooms. This gives you a list of all of the dining rooms on the ship and some information about it. The Manhattan room is the main dining room. It's kind of like a supper club. It's really, let's say, maybe one of the more elegant ones. It has a dance floor in it. Typically has live music. A couple of nights they'll have people come in from the Burn the Floor show, which is one of the entertainment venues on the ship, and they'll come in and actually perform in the dining room. Savor and Taste are the other two main dining room options, and you can make reservations for all of these. Just to fit our schedule, so I had a little bit of idea, we went ahead and made reservations. I decided I wanted to eat in the Manhattan room this ship. Normally, I find a dining room I like when I go on board, and I find a server I like, and then I ask for their station all of the time. If we like our server, in the first night when we're in the Manhattan room, we will try to get assigned to that person's section every night. Uh, that was one of the things that I liked on other ships where you had assigned dining, was you'd have the same server every night. I can accomplish the same thing by making reservations and then asking for that individual station on NCL. But I also like the flexibility that I can cancel these reservations and decide that either I'm not going to the main dining room or I'm going to change when I want to go, and it's not a problem. So it has, we're a fan, very much a fan of freestyle dining and freestyle cruising. One thing just to keep in mind, it mentions room service here. You can have a complimentary continental breakfast items brought to your room every day. If anything that's not in the way, let's say basically a cool cold type item, if you want a hot dish, then there is a service charge for that, and it's open pretty much 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Um, I'm sure we will use the continental breakfast option during the ship. One of the things I like about it is you get some coffee with it that way. The other thing is that sometimes I tend to get up and prowl around the ship really early when it's not so crowded. There are several things I'm going to try to get some video of for future YouTube videos that deal with the well, for example, early in the morning, we'll leave the Mississippi River through the channels to go out into the Gulf of Mexico. So I want to try to get some video of that. And when the ship is empty, it's a lot easier to get videos without having a lot of people in the way. So we'll do that quite a bit. Anyway, so go back to what we were talking about. I apologize, I get distracted easily. The noodle bar is free. They don't take reservations. Teppanyaki is a cook on a grill type thing, very similar to most of the Japanese steakhouses you've seen. You can make reservations. There is a surcharge. It's $36 plus a 20% gratuity for it. What I would say is that if you're going to do very many of the specialty restaurants, there's some dinner packages or some packages that include multiple meals that are worth it. So we'll go back up and we'll talk about that a little bit. Bake shop is strictly a la carte. The sweet tooth things, candies, donuts, those kinds of things. It's on the main level or in the atrium area of the ship. Obviously, no reservations for that. For individuals traveling in the Haven, which is the let's say most exclusive part of the ship, they have a separate lounge and a separate restaurant up there that they can eat at. If you're not staying in the Haven, those things are not available to you. Raw bar, and we'll find another one on the next page. Oh, excuse me, I'm on the second page already. You have the raw bar, and there is a Ocean Blue restaurant that are seafood restaurants. Both of those are a la carte, so you can go in and choose what you'd like. The Ocean Blue does have like a walk-up window on the promenade, and so you can order if you want. For example, they have reputedly very good lobster rolls. I haven't had one of theirs yet. Probably one of the things I will try on the ship to pay extra for. And I will say this, just to qualify this, I am a huge fan of NCL's restaurants in general. We've always had very good food. In this case, I may pay for a few extra things, not so much. There's Ocean Blue again. Like I said, it's very much a seafood restaurant. Has a great reputation on the ship for being very good. And what you will find is that again, it's a la carte. Or if you're on one of the dining plans, and we'll come back to the dining plans in a minute, then you get an appetizer, an entree, and a dessert all wrapped up in one price. Moderno's is a Brazilian steakhouse. Again, it's a specialty restaurant. Wasabi is like a sushi bar, very traditional. So you can go there and get sushi. It's a la carte. O'Shea's is a contemporary Irish pub. They have a wide variety of options available. They have a reputation for having great wings. And again, we'll do some more reviews of these when you're on the ship. The atrium is a great place to do some people watching. They have a small menu and a bar there. Cagney's is a steakhouse. It's one of the specialty restaurants on the ship. It Everybody says it has a very good steaks. It's not a place I've ever eaten. Um, we may try it this cruise. I don't know. Dulce Gelato is your ice cream stand. The things there are a la carte. Garden Cafe is your buffet, and they have a really big buffet. I will do some video of it on another video, so you'll have a chance. Obviously, since it's a buffet, no reservations. Now, Jimmy Buffett's Margaritaville is kind of interesting. It has a flat rate of $14.95. Now, if you go in the bar and you sit at the bar, you can order appetizers at an a la carte price. If you go in and sit in the main restaurant part, the $14.95 includes an entree, an appetizer, and a dessert. And most people say they can't eat it all. They do take care of providing quite a bit of food. La Cucina is the Italian restaurant on board. It's an extra charge restaurant, one of the specialty dining options. And Le Bistro is a French restaurant, again, part of the specialty dining programs. I will say this, Le Bistro is one of our favorite specialty restaurants. My wife and I have eaten there several times. The food has always been great, and usually we pick that up as part of a package. I'll show you in some later piece of this video some of the other packages that it's included in. So let's go up at the top. We'll talk about the dining packages because these are, if you like to not eat in the main dining rooms, you prefer a specialty, a little higher end restaurant, these are some nice options for you. In our ship's a 10-day, we're on a 10-day cruise. So we start out, you can get a 3-day dining package all the way up to a 10-meal dining package. And what you'll notice is that if you look at the pricing, the more nights you buy, the less the price goes down. So at $20.28 for 10 nights, that's a really good value for some fantastic restaurants. If you just buy 3 nights, it's $94, and so you're at almost $32 a night, plus your service charge for all of it. And that's one of the things to think about is that almost all the things you buy on board, there will attack a 20% service. And you can think of it as in lieu of a tip, because in most of these, tipping is very much optional. Though I'm one of these individuals that I carry money for tips, and if somebody takes really good care of me, I take care of them. I find it pays off quite a bit over the long haul. So there's a quick review of some of the dining options and some things to think about for meals, and we'll move on to another section. So we're going to go back to our tour of the website and some of the options that are available for us. The next thing we're going to take a look at is we're going to go down through some of the bars. We talked about the beverage packages that are available. We have a really nice selection of bars, total of, looks like we have 15 bars available. The one thing I will tell you is that you're not ever going to be very far from a bar if you're thirsty. Bar 21 is by the casino, and it serves casino patrons, and actually I think there's some electronic games right there that you can play at the bar. Bliss is kind of a modern age dancing venue. So if you're into clubbing, I know they have a glow party there. They have quite a few things that happen in Bliss. Again, it's an adults-only venue in the evening. That's probably, from what I read and hear, one of the more hopping places on board. And Garden Cafe was our buffet, but they also have a bar. Jimmy Buffett's, we know what they're famous for. Malting's beer and whiskey bars. So if you're a whiskey drinker, this is a great place to drink whiskey. They can get any kind of drink there, obviously, but that's whiskey is their specialty, and it's right next to the room for smoking cigars. So if you like whiskey and a cigar, you're all set up. Mix Bar is kind of between the taste and savor dining rooms, and it's a great place to wait for your dinner time to show up. And if you're meeting somebody, you can sit there and have a cocktail and drink before and visit before you go ahead and go on into the dining room. O'Shea's, like I mentioned earlier, and as we talked about restaurants, it's like an Irish pub. They have pub food and drinks. They're open 24/7 for you. You get in the area where there's specialty restaurants. Prime Meridian is up there between Maderno and Cagney's. Um, Shakers is your martini bar. So if you're really interested into that. The Sky Vodka Ice Bar is kind of interesting. I'll pop this one open just so you can see a little more about it. There is a service charge to go in there, but that service charge is made up for the fact that you get 2 drinks while you're there. They do provide coats because it's 17 degrees Fahrenheit inside there, and you can drink your vodka like they like it in Russia. Go ahead and go back to our main tab here. Spice H2O is up on the top upper decks area. It's an adults only thing, especially in the evening, and they typically will have some entertainment. There's also live TV on down there. Particularly important if you want to watch football games or some kind of sporting events. They'll usually show that there. Sid Norman's is just a bar with they have their focus, I guess you could say, is rock and roll because they have a live rock and roll band there that plays. I will provide some more information when we're on the ship. The Haven Lounge is for the guests in the Haven only, and not one of those places I will get a chance to see on this ship probably, though. If I can beg a visit in there, I may try to get just a little bit of video while I'm there. One of the things we're doing on our cruise coming up that's interesting is we're doing what's called a cabin crawl. So I'll have a chance to visit some of the Haven suites and pretty much every category of ship on the cabin. If there's somebody in our Facebook group that has one, they've made them available. So we'll get a tour of everybody's cabin. And I will, of course, try to shoot a little video while I'm doing that. The bottom one is Vive Beach Club, and this is something that you have to buy a pass for. And it is $36 a day. But again, it keeps the kids out and it's not as crowded as some of the other areas maybe. I'll have a lot more information in future videos talking about exactly how crowded some of these things get. Now we'll move on to another area of the site and look at some of the options available there. Okay, so now let's take a quick look through some of the entertainment that's available on the ship. Besides, there's almost always music playing somewhere. There are some specialty shows. Most of these are free, and so it's all up to your taste. We'll start with Burn the Floor. This is a Latin dance review, and it has a great reputation. Like I said, I mentioned earlier in the piece on the dining rooms in the Manhattan room, these dancers will come in and do at least part of their show there as well. One of the paid options is the Cirque Dreams and Dinner Jungle Fantasy. My understanding is there's some great tables that you can actually literally sit right around the outside of the stage. It's a very amazing show. It's from Cirque du Soleil. The price on it is $47.99, and it does include a dinner. That's the let's say the cheap seats. There are some other seating options available. You have to make those reservations once you get on once you're on board the ship. If you're into Cirque du Soleil, or if you always wanted to see them and never have, this might be a great opportunity to do it. Next one down is Escape the Big Top, and this is kind of interesting because it is it's an escape room type situation. There are clues there, and you get to try to find a solution to it. You know, reading in the reviews and individuals' experiences, it seems to be a challenge to successfully escape. What I'm finding is that for the most part, people don't. Once they find the explanations, they understand. They just overlook things. It's something that I may try while I'm on board. Howl at the Moon is dueling pianos. It has very good reviews from people. It's free. You don't make reservations for it. It's just something that you get a chance to sit in the evening and watch. I would go back to the Escape for the Big Top for just 1 second. That's one of those things, as soon as you get on the ship, if you're interested in doing that, you want to book it just as quickly as you can on board. Rock of Ages is a Tony-winning Broadway show. Um, I'm looking forward to having the opportunity to watch it. I don't know much about it. It's not something that I've done any real research on, but I am looking forward to it. This one, Wine Lovers, the musical, you can't book it right now. It's $29.44. And they said if you like wine and you like comedy, it's music, it's a really good time. It's not one that we'll participate in because wine bothers my wife. Typically it will cause her to have migraines, and that's not something we want to deal with on the ship. So that's a quick review of some of the entertainment, but we will go ahead and look at onboard activities while we're talking about it. There are some amazing water slides. You can see some pictures up here at the very top. It's called the Aqua Park. They have we talked about Bliss earlier. They have a casino on board. So it's a chance for you, if you're into gambling, there's a lot of different options there for you. Most of the casino is no smoking, but there is a smoking area in the casino as well. For younger ones, there's Entourage. It's for the teenagers, where a place they can hang out and be with other teenagers and not have to be with their parents all the time, which pleases both groups. And they do have a water park for children, so that's very nice. Associated with that, they have what's called Splash Academy, children 3 to 12. So it's a chance for them to go in and, again, be with their peers and have a good time, and it frees up some time for the adults. You want to register for these early on if you're interested in them, because they do fill up very quickly. I don't think it'll be an issue on our cruise, and it's definitely not an issue for us. We're in our 60s and have no children at home. But I do think that on spring break and in the summertime, that's one of those things you really want to pay some attention to. We'll talk a little bit about the sports complex. We'll actually go in here and take a quick look at it, what's on that tab, because there is a lot of things to do. For example, you can see in the foreground here, there's a ropes course. So that gives you the ability to practice your rope work all around the top of the ship. There's several options of paths through it, and it's one of those things that stays pretty busy. In that same area, you have the chance, if you want to walk the plank, you can walk out. This plank actually extends out over about 8 feet over the side of the ship, so you can look straight down and see the water. They do make you wear a harness, so you don't have to worry about getting overboard and having to have us come rescue you. They also have a miniature golf course. They have soccer area and an area to play basketball as well. So there's quite a bit of activities all over the ship to keep you busy. You'll find that staying busy on a ship this size is not that hard to do. Okay, so we're back at our website. I wanted to walk through a couple of other things associated with the NCL, the My NCL part of NCL.com. So the tab we're on now, we've looked at My Vacation and Explore and Plan. Now we're looking at the summary. And this gives you an idea of where you are in the process of getting your vacation ready. It gives you a quick update, again, when you sail, when you return. Tells you, in this case, that I've completed the payment. I haven't prepaid my port charges. That is an option. There's the information on my cabin. It's inside cabin 12443 on deck 12. I can edit my check-in. I can download my eDocs. I showed you that in another video earlier. And then it gives us your information about what you've done for each day. So, for example, we'll take a quick look through some of these. On our sail away date on the 17th, Thursday, I'm having dinner at 5:30 p.m. in the main Manhattan dining room. There'll be 2 of us there for that. On Friday, I'm eating at Manhattan again, this time at 8:30, because I have going to the Burn the Floor Shore at 7 o'clock. We go to Cozumel, again, just a main dining room. Anyway, so you can step through and look at all the activities you have scheduled, make sure nothing overlaps. It does have your information on your payment. So, for example, I booked a sail away cabin on the inside So my cruise fare was $489. And this is one of the things that for new folks to cruising, a lot of times you don't remember this or it's not real clear. So I had $196.25 in taxes and port charges. So it brought the total to $685.25 for the cruise. So my total for the two of us was $1,370.50. It's all paid for. I had no extra charges that I'm booked ahead of time, so there is no extra payment there. I do have the option if I wanted to. I can go ahead and pay the service charge. That's $14.50 a person per day. It works out to be $290 for the cruise. I do want to remember that because it is a charge that I'll have to deal with one way or the other at the end of the cruise. They have for $25 a person, you can get some protection that covers some of the things that may happen. That's not a bad price because this only covers the cruise. I elected to purchase a policy through an insurance agent that covered more than this one covers. It was a little more expensive, but it covered a little more as well. There's our information on our citizenship. Tells us that we should plan on checking in between 10 a.m. and 10:30. That's going to work really well because for me, I am set up. I'm teaching an online class on Thursday morning before we leave the hotel. So I'll finish the class at 10 o'clock, jump in a taxi and head over. We should be there 10:15, and hopefully we get on the ship fairly quickly. Really looking forward to it. There's information here on the ship, information on the stateroom. So we're in what's called a family inside, which is a little bit bigger than normal inside, except that we're actually in a handicap cabin. It'll be much bigger and much different than this. I will, when I start posting details about our cruise, it'll be there. Now, I made no arrangements with them for transfers or hotel or any of that. I did all that on my own, and we'll just do a taxi. Probably, it's possible that I'll let the ship do transportation back to the airport, but more likely what I'm going to do is just do a taxi back to the airport after the cruise. So now you've had an opportunity to view the My NCL, the options associated with your cruise. Hopefully this has been helpful for you that are new to NCL, and maybe some of the reminders are good for those that maybe have not sailed NCL a lot. One of the questions I saw a lot about was on the bidding process, so I tried to answer that. I will tell you that there doesn't seem to be a specific way to understand exactly what bid works the best to get a cabin. They do as much as they can to shroud that in mystery, so people will bid as much as possible because they're trying to maximize, obviously, the revenue for the upgrade. Anyway, thanks very much for watching. It's been a pleasure talking to you guys today, and hopefully this has been useful to you. If you found the information useful, please like it down below and subscribe to the channel because there's lots more in the pipeline from this cruise and future travels on Travels with a Chair. Thanks.